In the mid-80s, the competition was pretty rough on the Kinshasa musical scene. There were the elders who had already imposed themselves, such as Franco and Taboulay, and then there were the younger groups full of dynamism and talent, such as Empire Bakuba, Shockstar, and Emeneas Victor Eleison. It's in this very competitive scene that the young Koffi Olomide has distinguished himself and went from l'étudiant le plus célèbre du Zaïre to Mopao Mokonzi. So hello, welcome to the Botengu channel. I use this channel to show videos about music theory, others with myself playing music, and I also like to make small documentaries on African music. You can like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. The purpose of this video is not to go over the career of Koffi Olomide. It would be too long and pointless. It all can be found on Wikipedia or interviews. The purpose of this video is to present an analysis of what I think contributed a lot to the rise of Koffi Olomide. Koffi came to prominence in the late 70s for being Papa Wemba's lyricist. As he was studying in Europe, he could only contribute part-time. That all changed when he came back to his country and decided to interpret his songs himself. Being tired of having to find a group to accompany him, he founded his own group, Quartier Latin, in '86. However, the success that he encountered in the mid-80s was relatively modest. It was thus important for him to develop his own style, the Tcha Tcho, or, as he calls it,
Tcha Tcho is a my.
How could we characterize the Tcha Tcho? Tcha Tcho is a slow, romantic version of the soukous. It's also called soukous love. To be more accurate, I will analyze the Tcha Tcho style by comparing it to the more energetic rumba performed by the other groups at the time. The comparison will be made along 4 specific criteria. The first criteria is the song structure. The typical 80s rumba song starts with an introduction that has a slow and relatively more complex melody. It then fades into the second part of the song, which is more fast-paced and uses repetitive melodies. In that section, there is a chorus sang as a choir and multiple verses made of solo vocals. The song then ends with a seben, known as the dancing part. Tcha Tcho, however, has no fixed structure really. It is what we can refer to as a flexible style. The second criterion is the type of lyrics. Where the typical rumba song would have included a lot of repetitive lyrics, Koffi's music would include more complex and poetic lyrics, one of his strengths as a former lyricist. The third criterion, and probably the most distinguishable, is the type of sounds that were used. In Mobutu's Zaire, the synthesizer and the computer-assisted music were heavily discouraged, as they were deemed too Western for the authenticity movement. Local groups thus used more conservative approaches to music production, which limited the type of sounds in their songs. It was not until Emenea made an album using those Western techniques that it started to be accepted. Also at the same time, Zouk music had become famous in the Caribbean, France, and Africa. Tcha Tcho heavily used Zouk sounds, as well as sounds and sound effects from the American pop music. The final criterion is the voice projection. While the typical rumba emphasizes voice projection, probably best demonstrated by Pepe Kalle, Tcha Tcho could be sang low and sometimes it could almost be hummed, which was also advantageous for Koffi Olomide. Sometimes, it was almost as if he was whispering to the young women in his audience, who were his principal target. Those criteria were the recipe for some successful albums that he made around the 90s. Today, the influence of Tcha Tcho in modern rumba song is self-evident, not only in the writing style, but also in the types of smooth and soft vocals. We can conclude this video by saying that there are 2 ways to succeed. You can try to outpace your competitors along an existing path, or you can create your own path. Koffi made the latter rather risky bet, and with everything he has won since, it is safe to say today that it paid off.